We are currently in underway of maybe retooling our entire Overwatch draft tool and our selection and how we do maps and everything. So what you need to do as part of the community, as part of the people who watch these things, is go to GosuGamers.net/Overwatch. We've got some polls there. We are really looking for your feedback on what we should do as far as maps go, as far as bans go. Please hit up our website and let us know what you think. So before we spend the time and energy of redeveloping the Overwatch draft tool, we have a good idea of what people are actually looking for. There's a couple polls up on GosuGamers.net/Overwatch. Please go check that out and help us know what you want to see as far as the map drafting goes.
Indeed, and speaking of the map drafting, our first bans are underway. VaeVictis taking out Temple of Anubis with their first ban. No surprise there. SG-1 completing the ban of capture points by getting rid of Hanamura and Volskaya. So another week in where capture point is not particularly favored.
No, people don't like capture points. Also, King of the Hill up on that list of things people don't like, though Nepal is still around here. Hollywood gets banned out. Unfortunately, we have yet to see Hollywood today. I know you and I have already 6 hours of Overwatch casting under our belt so far today. Still no Dorado and still no Hollywood, but we might be going to Dorado. Otherwise, we're going to Numbani or Nepal.
Indeed. So, you know, really Nepal is sort of it's not in every match, but I feel like if we do get King of the Hill, it's almost always Nepal. It's sort of been a fixture here we get from time to time, but SG-1 saying not happening today. They are going to take out both Nepal and Lijiang Towers, leaving just Dorado and Numbani remaining in. You know what, Hex, it'd be refreshing if we got a Dorado game right now.
We see a lot of Numbani, and we're going to see a little more of it. It seems to be like kind of going to be the go-to map lately. Teams really love playing. It seems like defense is favored on this, especially the first point. Teams have a definite setup as far as their defense goes, but it also opens up the play in the hero pool for Symmetra and even some snipers we've seen play on this map. So we're definitely going to Numbani for game one.
Yep, and Numbani, again, like I think as you mentioned, we've been seeing it a little bit more. For whatever reason, we had a weekly where I don't think we saw it once, or maybe we saw it just once in the weekly, and now all of a sudden teams are sort of warming up to it, saying, you know what, maybe we're okay with playing a little bit of Numbani. It's not that bad.
Yeah, I mean, I think the teams have definitely gotten used to it, and we've seen teams kind of stake it out. Actually, Envious loves this map. We've seen Reunited play really well on this map too. So certain teams are really training for it, and it really shows in their dominance on the map.
And it's not without its variance though, because we think back even to Envious last week, and where the first time they went on Numbani, they got wrecked. A lot of it off the great plays of Reaver, and then they came back into it, and then they really took it over. So even on a map that team thinks are good on, you can have this sort of ridiculous variance from game to game.
Yeah, I mean, it all depends on the strategies they want to invoke, and certain strategies require a little bit of luck. You know, if you can get your Symmetra up, if you can get that teleporter up, it's sometimes the difference of seconds and the difference of maybe 100 damage that you didn't get your ultimate up or not. So it's definitely variant, and we'll see if VaeVictis can put together a decent run here against SG-1.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, many things... okay, so lobby settings here. We're not the ones that have the power here. Maybe we are, I'm not sure, but kill cam should be disabled. That is a new rule for this week. It's also being adopted by other organizations such as ESL, and where the kill cam will be disabled. And the reason for that is that you don't want that extra information going to teams, because when you get killed by someone, not only do you see their position, you also see their ult charge. And the idea going here is that maybe we shouldn't be giving that information to teams.
Yeah, I mean, that's absolutely true. You can see the ult charge, you can see where positioning is. Oftentimes you can find where a teleporter is, and that information just doesn't really need to be shared amongst teams.
Yeah, definitely not. I think it's one of those small changes, but probably a necessary change all in all. I definitely see the reasoning for it, and yeah, we'll see if it affects strategy a little bit more. I think it, at the very least, gives teams a little bit more doubt as to what's going on in regards to, hey, I just died to a Reaper, but I don't know what his ult status is. You know, that's a thing. Also might help Widow just a little bit. All right, now we're waiting for the teams to say all their readies and get underway, but the first map of the day, SG-1 versus VaeVictis on Numbani, is coming right at you.
Yep, first map of the day of GGNA Weekly number 5, brought to you by Rocket. Oh yeah, EU.
I was gonna say EU.
We're getting there. Brought to you by Rocket, DX Racer, and Maturino. Thank you to our sponsors. I think we have a $360 prize pool given away to the winner, and more importantly, bragging rights for EU.
Indeed. Of course, for a lot of these teams, they don't just stop things at you. They will oftentimes bring things all the way to NA the next day. So just have to see what teams are coming to NA. Also, my game appears to be a little bit frozen right now. Hopefully, it lets me in. Everything's been performing so well today, and then you get this freeze.
Well, not
which, by the way,
perfect.
is why there's a black screen right now. So, are you in, Hex?
I am in the game, yes.
All right. So I'm hoping my game recovers here. Hoping. I might decide to drop it and then relog in off of Women of Prayer here in a second if it doesn't let me in. Nope, looks like we're in. Wait. Failed to connect the server. And that has me a character to select. What in the world? All right, so I'm going to have to restart my game. Or actually, Hex, go ahead and drop me another invite. If you can go social or right click.
Yeah, I got
No, not party, not party. Invite to custom game.
Did you get it?
I did. It looks like we're getting in this time. All right, and just to say that, the gates are opening. We have not missed a single second of action. As we watch now, VaeVictis on the defense now versus SG-1.
Yeah, and one thing of note is on defense where they're actually running a Tracer. Overkarma loves his Tracer. He's been on it almost all day.
Yeah, Overkarma, it's just a hero that he wants to run, and even though he didn't have the greatest success early on, he might have a little bit more success here. Both teams already bumping heads here to start things out. Two quick picks, though, coming for SG-1, and SG-1 looking pretty dominant on the first point. Pumpu with a triple kill to start things out, a quad kill, so Pumpu really not wasting any time. For those who haven't followed SG-1, Pumpu is a great McCree, but so is Mafu, so it's a little bit interesting that Mafu's on the Winston, because last time we saw SG-1, it was mostly Mafu on the McCree.
Yeah, I mean, some teams switching up different heroes, but that is a very fast first capture. I mean, yeah, that's
They're
insane.
making good time hacks. And it doesn't stop there. While they are running the McCree, they're also running the classic Genyatta combo or Zenji. Some people are sort of complaining, saying, why not call it Zenji? And
I give them the option.
I totally
yeah.
see that.
We're giving chat all the options today. You go to our GosuGamers, give us overdraft options, and also give us critiques on what you want the colloquial names of these things to be.
Call it Zenji, not Genyatta. I don't know. I like both names. But that being said, we saw Overkarma try and get in on Pumpu, and Pumpu just not having any of it. McCree, of course, really good versus Tracer. And here comes Himsy. Himsy going deep in, has Zenyatta in his sights. Missing some shurikens, though, but he does get the dash, takes him out, and Hex, SG-1 is rolling like crazy
Yeah,
right now.
that was a really cool kind of trade they did there. They sent in Mafu on the flank with Winston, and he comes through the house like completely alone, and they think it's just him, so they all converge on him. Then behind him and behind his shield comes a McCree and the rest of the crew to clean it up, and they end up making a 4-for-1 trade.
Yeah. And SG-1, I mean, we've seen that they're capable of hanging with some of the best teams in the game at points, and Mafu going in with the aid of McCree takes out Overkarma. Overkarma now on Genji, so he's given up on the Tracer for now. It makes me sad, but I understand. We see a Sound Bearer coming out, and SG-1 wasting no time, rushing in, but they have to deal with the counter Sound Bearer, so both teams sort of canceling out there. 1-for-1 thus far in this team fight. And Mafu, again, going deep into his Winston. I gotta say, you don't see Winston's getting too much value, but Mafu's been picking up kills left, right, and center with his Winston thus far.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of Winston lately just kind of on the chase. They're playing this weird aggro role of really setting a forward ground and then actually getting kills off it. In the meanwhile, Pumpu gets 2 kills off of his Deadeye, and that's going to signal even a more aggressive push.
And taking like Mafu. Mafu gets charged by Reinhardt, suddenly finds himself in a bit of a tricky position, is able to get out of it, though. And Mafu staying alive, although thus VaeVictis with a little bit of life here, able to make some space in the payload. But thus far, SG-1 is making a great time so far, Hex.
Yeah, this card has barely stopped. Really, what VaeVictis needs to do is kind of regroup, get together, and actually hold a defense. If you look again, they're spread up. There's 2 behind, 2 in front.
Yeah, and they're really making good use of the Sound Bearer. Sound Bearer comes down, 3 people down so far, and this is looking like it might be GG already in round 1 versus VaeVictis, because VaeVictis does not have an answer to this, and SG-1 is just rolling.
No, and they clean up both the tanks too. And VaeVictis, this is similar to, like, I've only seen these guys play maybe 1 or 2 games. Hold on, the ultimate does come off. It's going to stall it out for a little bit. If they get a couple kills on here, they can stabilize. Oh my god, never mind. Flame Strike.
Yeah, and just like that, down goes Zenyatta. I mean, Transcendence can be used as a bit of a stall, but you need to have a little bit of follow-up very quickly, or things will go badly. So, that's a very quick half in favor of SG-1, and I really think VaeVictis is going to have some trouble beating the time that SG-1 just set.
It's an amazingly fast time, and VaeVictis, like I said, I've only seen him 1 or 2 games, but they always seem to be a little bit spread out. The coordination simply isn't there, and during fights, they end up getting like bisected. There's 2 people in the back, 2 people in the front, and you really can't defend like that against a team of the quality of SG-1.
Yeah, and SG-1, I mean, one of the things that really stood out to me the last time we watched is that they have some great hit scan play. I mean, Punpu and Mafu, they do really well. It was a little bit surprising me that Mafu was on Winston, but look at that, 4 jump pack kills. He actually made his presence known on Winston, a hero that's more decision-making based than just hit scan based, so Mafu might be more of the total package. I guess we'll see. Yeah,
I mean, the Winston play lately is just phenomenal. We saw Unfixed on Reunited play really well in Winston earlier today, and I think Winston is becoming not only the secondary tank like he used to be, but the main tank. And maybe you supplement with a Reinhardt or someone else, but it used to be Reinhardt and then something else. Now it's hard to envision a composition without a Winston.
Yep. So, now it's going to be VaeVictis' turn to attack. Both teams are assembling. And really looking at the time they have to beat here, 3:29. I'm not going to say that time is impossible to beat, but they're going to have to move and show a dominance that they did not show on their defending round.
Yeah, it's pretty tough. That's a really, really fast time for Nimbani. If this first wave gets stopped, it's not game over, but they're in trouble.
It can be very, very difficult to...
Again, so, Overkarma running Tracer.
Overkarma loves his Tracer. I hope he gets some success with the hero on attack.
I know, you love Tracer, so like this is great for you. It was like when Shadowburn was running Pharah for that 30 seconds earlier today. That was a great 30 seconds. You're getting some
love here too, because I think we can both give what we want here, X, because looking down the defending role for SG-1, we got Mafu on the Pharah, Rula on the Zenyatta, Himzy on the Lucio, Zappis on the Symmetra, Pumpu again on the McCree, and Hawks on Reinhardt. So we are seeing the Symmetra on defense, but more importantly, from your perspective, Hex, we're seeing Mafu on Pharah.
That's the only important thing. Now on offense, VaeVictis, Kebi is going to be running his Winston, Overkarma, of course, on Tracer, Lovers, Lucio, Claus on Reinhardt, Flamingo on Zenyatta, but there is no Genji to make this a true pairing, as Svetska is going to be running McCree.
Yep, so
Zenyatta is probably going to be focusing on Tracer, right? I mean, she doesn't need the orbs as much, but it helps.
It does help her quite a bit, and I think that's exactly what you're going to be seeing here. The timer has started, about 3.5 minutes to go. Can VaeVictis bring this back? We're going to find out. Meantime, taking a look at Mafu here. Mafu laying down pretty good spam onto the entirety of the VaeVictis team as they come in.
Yeah, Overkarma all the way behind now. She's already in back, so that's something they have to worry about and constantly be looking for. Pinpu is actually going to be the one, or Pumpu is going to be the one looking back to try to shut her down with his McCree.
And look at this. Mafu getting good value, hitting rockets on not 1, not 2, but 3 people. Actually takes out the Zenyatta very quickly. Pumpu takes out Claus.
That's the important
And already a suffocating defense from SG-1, just everyone participating. Punpu and Mafu being the stars there, taking out pretty much 3 people each.
Yeah, taking out the supports as your first kills is always hugely important, especially that Zenyatta really depowers the entire team.
I think we might have a switch here, and yes, Overkarma is going to be switching to the Genji. He started out as Tracer, I guess just didn't want to stay on it. And I understand with his overall effectiveness on Tracer today, so maybe he'll think that he'll get a little bit more effectiveness on Genji, but I'll tell you what, man, I think we're going to see more Tracer play, not only later in this tournament, but also tomorrow as well. I think Tracer, teams are starting to warm up to her.
It's just hard to pick Tracer into a hard counter that is McCree, who's running every composition. Mafu again starts with a pick on Flamingo, oh my goodness.
Yeah, that's the second time in a row where he's gone right on the Zenyatta and treated him to 2 rockets. We see Overkarma right now in the back trying to do stuff as Genji. Here's the last one remaining, and Hawks smashes Overkarma against the wall to complete the set. And now again, we have VaeVictis sort of struggling to figure out how they want to deal with this. And realistically speaking, looking at the time, they don't have that much time left. They have about 1:50 remaining in dealing with this. And it's really Hex, even if they cap it here, they're going to be running into time issues. But if they don't cap it here on this next push, they can kiss this map goodbye.
Yeah, we're going to see with how the initiation goes. Cabby is coming in on the Winston. They look like they're just going to go right up the gut, and they're going to go as 5 and just going to scrap it out.
Yeah, but look at the defensive ults here. Sound barrier is up. They used their sound barrier a little bit early, and we see SG-1 way to engage, and now they're probably going to drop their sound barrier in a moment, but they don't even have to because look at Mafu killing 2 people right off the bat. Lucio coming up with a little bit of cleanup, and sound barrier can actually be saved. There's so many ults that are being saved on the SG-1 side here.
Yeah, and
they just didn't even need to use it.
The only reason the Symmetra ult isn't up again is because she can't charge it while their teleporter is already up. But that teleporter is ready to go. The Zenyatta is in an extremely safe spot in the background. They're holding top right, and then every time anyone tries to roll up center, Mafu's there to bomb in on them, and they put the orb on Mafu.
Yeah, and really, I think we can call this mathematically now, taking a look at it. Only 55 seconds left. I don't think you can bring the cart that far out that quickly, but that being said, let's take a look at this fight. Maybe a moral victory for VaeVictis as they come in here, but Hawks with a great charge in the Flamingo. Statement right there. Sound barrier comes down for the defense and the Transcendence. A little bit of overlap, but Pumpu and Mafu again getting to the back line, doing a lot of work. And Lucio right now looking for the knockoff. Not able to get it, instead just has to sell for the Sound Blaster kill, and that is going to spell GG. SG-1 going to take map 1 in a very dominating fashion, and Hex, you know, I know SG-1 surprised us last time we saw them where it looked like they improved a lot, but it's possible they've improved even more because they look great right now.
They looked really good against the top European teams last week, and so it's no surprise to see them doing what they're doing now. I am still surprised that people aren't running more Pharaohs just because the utilization of her energy surge is so good at repositioning. There was a high noon about to come down on the whole team, and then Mafu had an energy surge on it, knocked him into the corner, then killed him. Those repositioning talents, I think, are going to become more and more valuable as, especially, we see King of the Hill become more popular.
Yeah, absolutely. So, good stuff coming out from SG-1. That is GG. The time is officially gone, although really it's been gone for a while. We'll just let the teams play until they say GG themselves here, just because caster stuff and whatnot. I guess we could act as like half admins, but usually the teams are pretty good themselves about calling GG and all the rest.
Yeah, the problem is you start acting as half admin, then they treat you like whole admin, and they expect you to have answers. And I don't want to have to be the guy with answers.
You know, being the guy with the answers is a job full of responsibility, but that's why, honestly, big shouts to the GosuGamer admin staff for making these things run smoothly. We would be lost without them. So, see Earthshower come down from VaeVictis as they try and get in here. SG-1 at this point knows they've won, but there's no reason why they won't be trying to defend this in any case regardless. That being said, Mafu a bit under fire, does have a barrage up, is going to look to use it as they come in. And down it goes.
Yep, all over but the crying. And if I am VaeVictis, I don't want to come back to Numbani. Like, Numbani, it almost doesn't even need to be the whole map. It's so rare we see it go past these first points with certain teams just able to dominate.
I think if there's any difference in team skill, the stronger team will usually be able to hold on point A. It's a very good defense point, but good teams can break it against other evenly skilled teams. And right now, SG-1 does seem to have the advantage overall in raw mechanical skill. So we see a little bit of cleanup here from Pumpu and Mafu. Although, it's kind of interesting. Looking at this, Combo with a great barrage is able to take out 2 people. As we see the final push of VaeVictis, trying to go for the moral victory in point A, but not going to happen. SG-1 taking the map in dominant fashion, and we got to roll straight to map 2, Hex.
Yeah, that's Numbani for you. Pretty quick if you stop the first couple attacks, and hey, Symmetra. Good for Symmetra.
You don't see this too often. In fact, I don't think I've ever seen a Symmetra play the game with a custom play the game intro. I'm sure it exists, I've just personally never seen it because it's so rare to see the Symmetra get play the game anyways, but orbs for days there, Hex.
Yeah, you got to get those orbs, and then look, I mean, 11 sentry turret kills.
Epic.
Impressive.
Gotta give props to Winston, though. If nothing else, in the end, everyone on VaeVictis giving up for the Winston. So, we are going to wait for the next draft, and yeah, Hex, SG-1 looking pretty strong in round number 1 thus far.
Yeah, it's kind of what we expected, SG-1 to move on, although I don't know how much further they're going to move on. Of course, they haven't moved on yet, but the bracket just gets harder and harder. Even these first round ones are a little bit difficult. Yeah. I mean, SG-1 played so well last week against some of the top teams that I expect them to do well, but I expect a lot of teams to do well. It's really hard to pick winners so far.
Yeah, and it's just interesting, again, how all this stuff is in flux, or one team you think might be weak from the previous week comes in and acts very, very strong. I will say, thus far, SG-1 definitely making a good impression so far.
Yeah, and just one more map, and they'll move on. And I'm gonna look at the bracket. I want to see who they fight.
So the bottom half of the bracket is filled with a bit of drama and intrigue. SG-1 after this will be on the way to face the winner of Arcane versus Project X. And Project X, while they did lose in the previous tournament we casted, they did sort of have some good moments, and they could give SG-1 a fight.
Yeah, I would favor SG-1 there. Project X didn't look like they had it all
Yeah.
put together to me. When they played against Quake Fortress, especially, I just didn't think they didn't look like a composed team. But yeah, it's just so many games. I want to see I want results to start rolling in so this looks a little clearer because right now it's just crazy. But then you would imagine that IDDQD moves forward, but Ventus has some strong players on that team, so that might be a team to look for an upset. That would be an upset amongst all upsets because I have IDDQD as a favorite, but Ventus has strong players.
Yeah, Ventus definitely can bring it if necessary. I think with everything going here, I think they probably just got a bad draw getting IDDQD early on, but you never know. Overwatch is volatile. I mean, we might be saying that and then go, wow, we missed it. IDDQD versus Ventus, the upset of the year. It's entirely possible in Overwatch competition as it goes this far. So I do think IDDQD will roll at least to the semifinals, in which case they might have a game on their hands. But again, we will see as time goes on. I would love to see SG-1 versus IDDQD, though. I think that would be a great series.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking at the Ventus roster. These are players you might know. Reinforce had a post on the subreddit that was actually really, really interesting read. So he probably plays the Reinhardt, I'd imagine. Then Nadir, we've seen on I think different teams than this. Evoke has been on different teams. So Ventus is a really strong team. That's a tough draw to go against IDDQD in round 2. They have an 0-2 record on it versus them in previous matches, but that could be an upset worth keeping an eye on at least.
Taking a look at the map banning going very, very quickly here. It's between Dorado and Nepal now for VaeVictis. And I wouldn't be surprised if they brought in Nepal, but instead, it's going to go the Dorado. So we get our first Dorado of the day, Hex, and I'm pretty happy for this.
I mean, I love Dorado, and we haven't been into Dorado at all today, and it's been 7 hours of casting so far. So it's time to put on the ponchos and bust some pinatas.
Absolutely. So, for those who are just turning in, SG-1 striking first blood, up 1-0 over VaeVictis in a very dominant round in the Nambani. We'll see if they can capture the same magic going into map number 2 on Dorado.
So just waiting on lobbies as always. So while we have some downtime, first of all, big shout out to our sponsors because we kind of rushed on the air and I didn't get to do my normal selling out, so I got to get in my comfortable sellout seat. We want to thank Rocket, who are purveyors of fine mice, mouse, keyboards, accessories, everything for your computer that you actually touch and interact with. They're our original sponsors, and we could not be happier to continue working with them. DX Racer, also a new sponsor of ours, and Matcherino.com. Another sponsor. So thank you so much to all of our sponsors. Without them, we'd be unable to put on this broadcast for you.
Himsy saying, quote, Darude map and Moretti. Why is Dorado Darude? I mean, it's sort of close there. I mean, now chat's going to be Sandstorm. But...
Darudo. Yeah, I mean...
Darudo. Oh, no.
Yeah.
What have you done, Hex?
Whenever you have a chance, throw me into the lobby, and I got a couple people I need to add as well.
So they actually just started. I didn't realize that people had left lobby to begin with because we're all just still in there. So,
oh, I had to add some people. Sorry. I'm doing a lot, man. There's a lot of work going on over here. You just sit there and do all the production and everything important.
So you should be able to get in the game off that. We are in on Dorado. This is SG-1 versus VaeVictis, and again, it's going to be SG-1 on attack to start things out. Not seeing too many switch-ups here from SG-1 if this is, in fact, their attacking lineup. We got Mafu again on the Winston, Punpu on the McCree, Hawks on the Reinhardt, Himsy on Genji, Zappis on Lucio, and Rula on the Zenyatta. So again, we'll see the Zenji Genyatta combo coming out yet again. But what is this on the defense, X? Are they sticking with 2 Torbjorns? Nah, they're switching it out.
Nah, it's always just the caster troll. Usually,
yeah,
that was pretty
from
quick.
the attack.
Yeah, well, It was pretty quick. Usually they wait for me to talk for about 40 seconds or so before switching off to whatever hero I was talking about.
Yeah, but no such luck this time.
Over Karma, loving the Tracer. I'm going to need to see a little more done from it. I mean, we speculated that the reason they're running the Tracer is to really try to counter the Zenyatta, but the Zenyatas are playing so far back and they're so difficult to get to. But that is essentially his primary target, is to kill the Zenyatta and unpower the Genji Zenyatta combo. But there's no Genji on the team right now, so well, never mind. Never mind. Let's just go.
Oh. We're gonna take a look at and here he is. He has the Zenyatta in his sights. If Overkarma's gonna go in, that was the time to go in. Not able to get in on the Zenyatta though. A little bit hesitant. Now getting on the Zenyatta gonna be much harder for Overkarma.
Yeah, and this card is actually moving at a pretty good clip. I mean, they kind of concede this first little alley here, and it's really just going to be a matter of time to see when they try to break this rooftop.
Yeah, Overkarma not able to get too much done here, and actually under a very big assault by Pumpu. Pumpu really working both ends, keeping the Tracer under wraps and attacking at the same time. So nice stuff from Pumpu. Has to be a little bit careful here, and Tracer still living in the back, but not for long. Pumpu taking her out by fanning the hammer, and SG-1 again is rolling it.
Yeah, a much stronger trade for SG-1, and it looks like they're going to be able to clean up around this card. The only person left to contest is the McCree, and he's going to get hunted down on the backside, I think. Actually, Svetska just takes out Zappas. Nice play, Svetska.
Yeah, but right now they have to get presence on the cart because they're very content to just sit with Reinhardt and McCree in the cart and go, okay, get us off this payload because it is moving right now.
This is what I'm talking about with VaeVictis. Svetska was in the backside, right? And he's just caught out all alone. So Klaus goes to save him, but now look where their defenses are. They're all scattered about there. I could not tell you where all 6 players are at any given time on this team. They're always all over the place, and they just seem like they're on different missions.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where if you want to mount a good defense, especially against a team like SG-1, you have to be coordinated, and you have to go in at the same time, coordinate your ults, go in, try and get a good pick on one of the bigger players like Pumpu, and go from there. And thus far, VaeVictis has not been capable of doing that.
Yeah, so you see 6 on the cart, and if you try to confront them with anything less than your own 6, you're going to be in trouble. So they really need to start coordinating, playing as a unit rather than as separate squads.
Yep, so taking a look at things. We see SG-1 again rolling on the cart, but they have so many ults there ready to go in. And here it is, Sound Barrier plus Dragon Blade there, ready to go in. Pumpu immediately taking out the Zarya. Genji in the backline, slicing and dicing, and between Himsy and Pumpu, there's not a whole lot left in their wake hacks. That is a full team wipe in favor of SG-1.
That is a pretty SG-1 looking kill feed, and I'd imagine this cart's going to roll all the way to the second point. They are going to come out pretty fast, though, and try to contest this. I think they do want to delay the cart from taking the second point, but they might be better served. Yeah, and I think they're just going to hold back on defense. They're going to concede this point and not go murder themselves into the cart.
Probably a wise decision on their part. So, taking a look at this, we see Genji still chasing down the 76 in the back, and down goes Overkarma. Overkarma deciding to give up his Tracer ways, brings up the 76. See if he gets a little bit more luck from that. But SG-1 has really been unstoppable thus far, and taking a look at this, McCree gonna go down to Mafu. And you just sort of see they've been very aggressive, they've been in the back line, and they've gotten great play out of both their Genji and their McCree.
Yeah, I mean, VaeVictis just seems like sometimes they're picking strange fights and going in alone in different places. Also, I'm just really not sold on the Tracer. If you end up changing heroes every single time you pick a certain hero, maybe just don't start with the pick of the certain hero.
Yeah, that could be a better way of handling it. That being said, Himsy now does have the Dragon Blade, has built up the ult, almost certainly going to activate it any second now. In the back line, takes out the Winston. And again, that's 3 people down for VaeVictis, and SG-1 cannot be stopped as they move to the payload. You do see a 76 Tech Visor out, but he gets sliced down in his prime, slices the visor right off him. SG-1 with a very dominating time on map number 2, Prado.
Yeah, I mean, seeing Hawks charge in there towards the end to try to save a McCree who was already way off to the side, it was already going to die. It's just kind of indicative of how VaeVictis has been playing. They're just not making the right choices in a lot of situations, and that leads to them being spread up, and then getting picked off, and then being spread up and getting picked off. It's a vicious cycle.
Yep, so SG-1 making a very strong case for themselves this far in round number 1. We'll see if VaeVictis can turn around their fortunes in the next map. But again, a time of 3:30. That's almost identical to the Nambani time. It's so close. For it being a different map, that's pretty remarkable.
Yeah, they've really got it down. These are the lamest cards. 376 Transcendence Healing just got 10 votes.
Legendary, man. Legendary.
It's like when I convince people to vote for killing teleport pads. Everyone should vote for anytime that card shows up and someone gets a card for killing one teleporter pad, you have to vote for him. It is your obligation as
He
an
killed
Overwatch.
a teleporter pad.
That's game changing, man. He cut off all reinforcements. It's like destroying a supply line in a war.
It's incredible. And it was just one, too. So
Yeah,
really...
so I don't care about like the 15,000 damage done, the 25 kill streak, whatever. If you kill one teleporter pad, you should get every vote in every game. It is the law of Overwatch.
So...
SG-1 looking to move on to the next round. And,
yeah, and
they're in a good
SG-1 has
spot.
been notable for having good defense in Dorado in the past. I mean, I think it was them where we saw them have a hold at this point over here, not even letting the team get to the archway and the first capture point. So SG-1 definitely has it in them. And interestingly enough, I wonder if are they going to be running a defensive Widow? Because you see a lot of Widow on offense. You don't see that much of Widow on defense.
It's a good map for it, though.
Yeah.
It's good. Like just initially, it's almost set up just to initially run a defensive Widowmaker, just because this perch that overlooks all the doorways. You have a whole bevy of options back here, decent escapes, good Widow mine placements, and I think this is going to be a pretty unorthodox offense of 5 Junkrats and a Widow. I don't think they're going to change.
I feel like we're getting a little bit trolled, but taking a look at the defense, which isn't trolling, we got SG-1 Zappis on the Lucio,
Do
Rula
these
on
actually do
Zenyatta,
damage
Pampu on
if they hit
McCree.
someone?
Listen, probably. This feels kind of... This is definitely an exploit. I feel like they should not be doing this. Like, this is absolutely an exploit. I mean, they're not hitting anything, but still they could be interfering. But anyways, Mafu on Widowmaker, Himsy on Reaper, and Hawks on Reinhardt. And yeah, I don't know what all that's about, but that... They would have a legit complaint with the admin if they wanted to. Back and everything.
Okay, so they are not going to be running 5 Junkrats, unfortunately, but they are on the offensive Widow and the defensive Widow, so we're going to see a little bit of sniper battle.
Yep, taking a look at Mafu here. Mafu landing some shots in short order. No pickoffs just yet, but Overkarma does take out Himsy, so a little bit of first blood coming out from VaeVictis. In fact, 3 kills. That's great.
That's exactly what they needed to start this round.
Oh my god, the ragdoll from that hammer hit on Claus. Claus died like 2 times over there. So,
Overkarma doing very well not on Tracer.
yeah, this is maybe this is the hero switch ups that they need here coming out from VaeVictis. VaeVictis doing a much better job on attack here than I would have thought based off the defending round.
Mafu wins that sniper battle, and that's always a great feeling knowing that you can kind of just snipe unmolested now with no one pressuring you. It's just kind of a shooting gallery. The Winston's going to try to come in and do it, but I think that's a really bad choice by Cabby. Way too far ahead, not even getting to the sniper.
Yeah, and right now both teams are trailing off a bit, but the payload still was moving, but now it's under contest, and we see now the Reaper v McCree fight going in favor of Himsy, so big win for Himsy there.
We did have an SG-1 drop as well. Hawks had to drop the game, so I don't see anything in chat about it yet. Maybe they feel they can still hold this defense. They put on a really good time. They might be able to hold this 5v6.
We also just had a random person start spectating, so I don't know what's going on.
There's a couple
here.
people that are running in the spectator them.
Okay.
Yeah, that's okay. Those have been approved.
Fair enough. So, right now we see SG-1 stabilizing a bit, even though they're down a player. So this is effectively a 5v6, and they're still holding. Taking a look at Mafu here as he is over the top.
Mafu's behind.
Yeah, he's sniping Reinhardt. It's shot after shot. Reinhardt goes down. Lots of shots to the dome of Reinhardt there.
Yeah.
And see a Transcendence coming up from Rula. Rula feeling a little bit under pressure from the Genji. Does save himself, though. It does come at a cost of a more substantial ultimate. But you know what? It might not matter because look at all this pushing coming out from SG-1. And they're down a player. Like, Hawks doesn't return to the battle at all.
Yeah, he's back in the game now. But all this 1 shot, 1 kill nonsense? No, it's all about the 5 shots, 1 kill. This is the modern age of FPS.
Yeah, 5 shots, 1 kill, 1 shot, 1 kill. Doesn't really matter. The bigger thing that's going on here is that even if VaeVictis were able to get to the next point here, look at the time that's left, Hex. There's only about a minute remaining, and mathematically, I don't think it's possible for VaeVictis to bring this back here, even under the best of circumstances.
Yeah, not looking great, especially when you're bleeding off players like that, and the trades are going that poorly in your favor. Now Hawks is back, so they are actually fighting on even ground. They had a whole player advantage for a solid minute there that actually was when they started not pushing the cart.
So, 40 seconds left in this game. Down goes over Karma to Mafu. Mafu has been on point with this sniper play this game, and Lover right now find himself under the gun, so to speak.
Well, Claus gets
But
back
really-
and he gets a pick on the Zenyatta. That's a good start, but then Claus dies to a Lucio. Tough stuff there. It looks like SG-1 is going to go on and hold on to this map and move on to the second rounds. A good showing by VaeVictis today. I like that they're playing in all these tournaments. I always like it when a team, even if they're not playing super well, is actually participating in tournaments. It's a great way to get practice. Now they've played against SG-1 and other top teams, and they can only improve from here.
And also, I just want to say the term super well is totally variable, right? I mean, all the players on VaeVictis could be very, very good, just they look a little bit worse when compared to a great team like SG-1.
Oh yeah,
so.
I'm sure every single one of these players would beat the hell out of me in a game. But it's just SG-1 is a more coordinated team, and I think that's really all that Victis is missing. It's just some of the coordination, some of the calls are just a little bit off, and we know that it's a game of seconds in Overwatch.
Nope. I am very firm in calling GG here, so both teams know and all the rest. Even though I'm not an admin, I'm going down that path. Time has elapsed.
It's the path of darkness, my friend. You're claiming responsibility. That's all you.
It absolutely is the path of darkness, but SG-1 takes it, and well played on them. They're going to move on to the round of 8 in a very dominant fashion. Really, just great stuff coming out from Punpu as well. You know, they switched off from Mafu being on McCree, but Punpu took up the mantle, and he did well, Hex.
Yeah, and Mafu played really well on Pharah and Widowmaker, so, I mean, and clearly he knows what he's doing on that hero as well, so... a really good roster, and SG-1, based on what I've seen from them last week and now this week, they could beat absolutely anyone in this bracket.
Yeah, I mean, I'm curious to see what's going to happen if we get an SG-1 versus IDD-QD matchup, because IDD-QD, you look at their scrim history, they've sort of been an unstoppable juggernaut over the last week. They've been giving even teams like Envious a run for their money.
Oh no, they've not been giving Envious a run for money. They embarrassed them in the 3 or 4 scrims I saw just on stream. And granted, they're scrims and they're on stream, so how serious are we taking them? However, I can only speak for what I saw, and they were denying them first capture points on most maps. It was crazy.
So again, I'm curious to see what happens for IDDQD and see it in a tournament set, because again, teams sort of try different looks at things all throughout the week, and then they bring it all together on Saturday and Sunday.
Oh, that flashbang over the shield is so dirty.
Yeah.
Pumpu's playing really well.
Well, that's sort of like the McCree move, right? Where McCree's throw flashbangs over the shields and go from there. And it's one of those things where it takes a little bit of getting used to, but it's very consistent once you do get used to it. And it makes McCree just a little bit better because he sort of, twists the knife just a bit into your average Reinhardt play. That being said, we're going to be taking a short break as we work towards getting into the round of 8. This is the GosuGamers Overwatch Weekly EU Cup. I'm ZP joined by Hex, and we'll be back in just a moment.